Hey guys, I'm Rob. In the last video, I added music and remade the UI for my game LightQb, which you should totally wishlist on Steam right now. At this stage of development, I have created a Discord server for my game and started to look for people that are interested to play and test it. To make my game easier to play, I created a tutorial level that showcases how everything in the game works. I then had to remake the tutorial because it was too hard and barely anyone could pass it. I separated the tutorial into 3 smaller, easier tutorials so you don't have to learn everything in the first level. Most people said that the green cube would flip gravity too fast, so I slowed down time during the flip to fix that. I've also added a green vignette during the slow. I added a delayed jump, which is basically something that lets you jump a fraction of a second after you've fallen. It makes the game feel more fair visually. Several people told me that the game feels too slow, that the character doesn't feel like having enough speed. This was weird because I thought it was just fine. Turns out it wasn't fine. While looking back on all demos for this video, I was comparing the character in the earlier versions with the one in this version and it's much slower. Apparently I had slowed down my character because if he travels slower, I have less cubes to place and less work to do. And it's also more optimized. I did this little by little with every version and it changed so much I didn't even realize. Basically, for the sake of optimization and control, I unknowingly made my game less fun. And that's not fun. This is why I recommend making regular builds of your game, in case that in the future you might look back and realize that you like the old build better in certain aspects. I increased field of view to make the character feel faster, and added the speed effect along with the small speed boost if you move without stopping for 2 seconds. This encourages the player to play the game without stopping, and that's how it was intended. Because most people took their time when exploring a level, I now kill the player if he stays still for too long. I had also bring back the acceleration based movement that I had killed in the past due to the frame rate variations. Now I multiply acceleration and deceleration with delta time, which makes it constant no matter the frame rate. I've also remade the speedlines, and changed some menus for the UI for the 4th time because it wasn't good enough, and I knew I could do better. I've also made this cool loading screen, and redesigned some maps to make them less confusing. So far I had made around 8 parkour maps. That's a little too much for a demo. So after a Discord poll, we picked the best 4 maps to include in the demo, along with 3 tutorials and the Rubik's boss, totaling up to 8 maps. While writing the script for this video, I realized that I have never mentioned the narrator before. Basically, he taunts you every single time you die. He also only speaks in boss fights and tutorials during gameplay. I made it that way because nobody would be able to both focus on the game and read the text at the same time on the speedrun levels. For now he only tells you key information, as I'm still working on the story for the full game. You'll learn more about the story from the narrator as you progress through the levels. I'm also debating throwing lore hints in the loading screen. In the future I plan to use shards as sort of a requirement to unlock new levels. In a way, forcing you to beat all levels to get better times, and more shards. I think it's a good idea because my levels are short and have great replay value. Because you come back to the old levels that you thought were challenging before, only to find out that you got so much better to the point where you're repeatedly winning the levels and breaking old records, which feels satisfying. I'm also planning to add new mechanics like dashing and sliding and new cubes. This time, there's no need for a showcase because you can go right ahead and play the game yourself and maybe, hopefully, probably, you'd better wishlist it and tell me how it feels. Either way, here's a side-by-side comparison of this version and the one I had before receiving feedback. The lesson is that feedback matters a lot when making a game. Something that I find interesting is that I have made more progress to my game in the last 6 months than I did in the other 1.5 years since I started. I think this happened because I got used to the tools and the workflow, so my productivity increased, but also because I had gotten more invested into working on my game, as now I'm putting more hours in than ever. I hope you like my 4-part series. I'm going to continue, but this time it will be about progress on the full release game. If you like my video, consider actually liking the video and subscribing for more videos like it. Bye bye!